going to be the inside of the back page of the book, and we're just going to have a waterfall on it with some decoration. I think we will begin assembling the waterfall by cutting one sheet of, I use dark brown cardstock that's 9 1/4 by long by 4.5 inches wide, and I use the scallop punch on the bottom, and then just left the top plain. And I've cut 6 different sheets of the pattern paper that is 6 3/4 by 4.5. I'm gonna make sure. Let me measure because I've forgotten. 4.5 by 6 3/4. Yep, 6 3/4. And then you're going to score at 1/2 inch on the top of each one of those and turn it under. You want to apply score tape to the back side of it on each one, and to attach it to the brown you want to place it right at the top and press down on it and remove the score tape. The next one you're going to do the same thing. You're going to fold it under and remove your score tape and press it right up against it. The top one, you don't want to get it right on top of it or touch it in any way. Just, you know, a hair's breadth away from it, and just press it down and make sure that your outside edges are lined up so that your pages, your waterfall pages, will just continue to be straight. On that one, on these, some of these I have washi tape because this paper ripped real easily when I was scoring it, so I'm going to go back and add some washi tape to each page just to make sure that they don't continue to tear any more than they did. I would say it would be a good preventive measure to go ahead and do that, and then burnish your fold line down so that that'll continue to train the paper to lie down flat. And again, just use the pattern of your choice and kind of get them lined up the way I want them, and go from there. I just decide how far down I want to go. And this pretty much goes from top to bottom. There's about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch left at the base of the page. And again, burnish your tape that you put onto the waterfall part, and you can see just to put it right up next to the straight line edge of the one in front, on top of it or above it. It's not on top of it, doesn't touch it. So this way you'll get pictures. You can do landscape or vertical pictures on both sides, the top and the bottom, so you'll have 13 or 14 pictures that you'll put on here. And that one I didn't get, I don't think I cut it straight, so I just trimmed. There was a little bit off, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and I just trimmed it off because it wasn't going to affect anything. Or so I told myself. And then we'll continue on down the waterfall. I added washi tape just on the outside of it, but I think I may go back and put it on the inside. I don't know. I'm going to kind of wait and see. It's one of those things that if it tears, I can fix it with washi tape. I don't have any really pretty washi tape uh, washi tape, fall tape to use on that. And that one seems to not want to come off. There we go. I used some of the Little Bees gold washi tape on the top edge of it, and to apply that you are going to just have to put dots of glossy accents and then put your tape down, because it's just determined for me that it doesn't want to stay. So I just go ahead and save myself some aggravation and put it down. And I didn't like that one. I guess I got it really crooked, so I'm going to take it off. Just if you use a bone folder like that, it's easier to just kind of work it under, because I haven't really burnished it down well enough yet. Put some more score tape on it, and I'm going to try it again. I put a little glue on the top of it so it can just help reinforce it if once I've removed it from the pull it up and loosen the score tape. I usually put a glue stick on it, any score tape first, to give me a little bit of wiggle room, but you get kind of cocky sometimes and you don't do it, and that's what happens. Sometimes it's just all the paper's fault. That's what I say. So that is the last one, and I'm going to score or burnish each one just to get it trained to lie flat and fold flat. I'm just burnishing the ones that are folded down, and just a little bit on the other one. I don't want to mess with that paper too much. This is a Tim Holtz dye pumpkin jack or something. This is the border that is the 8 inches by 2 inches, and I used a scallop punch, so you can use whatever punch you like. I like the scallop punch because there's no holes or things, and it doesn't tear as easily, and I just use a ATG to adhere it down and then repunch my hole through it. Around that corner a little bit. on the, that was from the border. Yes, I still use that really tiny little Fiskars paper trimmer. I probably have 2 or 3 in my stash, and I've tried others, but I just don't get along with them. And re-ink it, I use Vintage Photo. You could use just about any color you want to because of the pretty colors in the paper. And center it at the top of the, or put it at the top of the page and center it from left to right. And I'm just going to kind of draw a line where I like it and want it centered on the page. Well, first I'm going to glue my pumpkin down. I don't know why I'm gluing it on top of that waterfall, but I did. I know it goes on top of it, but gluing on top of paper is not necessarily a good choice of things. And I just put the any ATG tape on the top of that. I just did it. And I put it about, half an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Let me see. It's about almost half an inch from the bottom, and glued it down. And I inked around the stem of it, and then these are some tattered leaves that from Tim. That's another one of his pumpkins that I cut, and I just colored the stems with distress markers. And I think I used green and brown and red and a little orange and inked it a little. I'm folding the leaves, just kind of curling them to give them a little personality, which by the time the book closes they're going to go flat anyway, but they look pretty good like that. And I put my glue, I just used regular white glue, and I put it all the way down the stem, the center of the stem, so that it's tucked under that pumpkin, but it goes on all the way out so it won't tear up. And there's a little quote that I found that said there's nothing like an autumn day. And I had put chipboard on the back of it and stub punched the top edge, or all the edges, and used glue to just adhere it down at an angle. And the pumpkin has the Scotch or the foam tape on it. The little pumpkin where I want it, and this time I'm a little smarter. I stuck my leaves in before I pushed that down too hard. I think I'm cutting the stems off of it, and I don't know what I was doing. And I was putting a little glue down the center of it. Just can't seem to remember to get that on there before I stick it down. One of these days I'll learn that it's easier to put those leaves under there and then stick it down, but I guess I just like to do things the hard way sometimes. Put a little glue along the seam line, center line of that, so it'll stick. And then I put a little small brad that comes in your kit that I cut the legs off, or the brads off, and just, I think I use glossy accents to put it just right at the base of the stem, and added the washi tape. Now I'm going to push it where I think I want it, and just mark it with a pencil a little bit so I can keep it centered, semi-centered. That's just a real light line to know where. Now I'm going to put score tape on the back of this. I would suggest using score tape because it's going to get heavy when you add your pictures and in the rest of the embellishments that you want to use. I've kind of noticed that in the last few albums I've done just pretty much flat. I haven't added. They close, and I think I like that. That's 1/2 inch score tape, I believe, that I'm using. Cut off the tag tails. I do burnish the score tape before I pull it up. just some the Scotch Quick Dry on the outside edges and just kind of a squiggly amount inside, just to make sure everything's going to stay. It's not a lot. There it is. The end back is done. And then when you have your fall pictures, you can just add them as you need to and add. You'll have some embellishments left that you can add, or you can make some of your own. Makes me excited to know that I'm leaving for Branson in just a few weeks, and I'll get to actually see these colors since we have no fall here. A little pencil line showed, so I was going to erase it on there. Somebody gave me that little funky eraser. It works really well. It's probably one of those things from the dollar store or Dollar Tree that works. And this is the next page in the book. And like I said, you can put it together any way you want. It doesn't have to be in any certain color or die cut piece that you want, just as long as you're happy with it. In those two half pages, you can put either one at the top or the bottom, whichever way you want it. And that's the cardboard piece. And the cover. So you can kind of see how it's going to look. I like that the top sticks out and the side